everyone. We've had a few people asking us about how we make our flavoured kombucha, so I thought I would share with you today. Making kombucha and particularly flavouring the kombucha is a two-step process, so I'm going to guide you through the two different steps that you would need to make in order for you to make your kombucha. So one of the things that you need for kombucha is a kombucha starter or a SCOBY, and this is how it looks. So what you require, as you can see, we have a few of them because they do tend to grow and reproduce fairly quickly. So you will need a kombucha SCOBY that you can source, free from someone who is fermenting or making their own kombucha, but you can also buy them online if you don't know anyone who would be able to share one with you. So you start with your SCOBY or your kombucha starter, and to show you, in here I have 1 liter of green tea. You can make the kombucha with regular tea, which is black tea, or we prefer it with green tea. The only thing that is important is that you make sure that it's pure green tea or regular tea, that it doesn't have any flavorings in them. It needs to be just plain and without anything added to it. So this has already cooled down, and as I said, it's 1 liter of tea. And what you'll do is, for 1 liter of tea, you are going to need 1 cup of regular caster sugar. I know it sounds like a lot of sugar, but don't worry, because whilst the kombucha is fermenting, it would absorb most of that sugar, so it's actually not something that is going to be very high in carbs or very high in sugar or very sweet. Once you just put the sugar in there, you just want to make sure that the sugar has diluted in the tea, and the tea does have to be completely cooled down. So I have 1 liter of tea, 1 cup of caster sugar, the tea is completely cooled down, and I have my kombucha starter here. If it's the first time that you're making the kombucha, I would always recommend that you include, as part of your fermentation, a little bit of the liquid that comes with the SCOBY or with the kombucha starter. If it arrives dry, or if the SCOBY that you have is dry, add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. It's important that you do that so that the kombucha has the ideal or the pH that it requires for it to ferment. So I'm just going to pour the cool down green tea in here. It really is as simple as this. So here we go, 1 liter of sweetened tea. What you would do next is you will cover with a cloth. If you have a special, and I'll show you, because there are some special fermenting jars that you can have, but basically what you want is for it to be covered enough so that no insects or bacteria or anything gets in, but also it does require oxygen in order for it to ferment. So you don't want it to be completely sealed, so that's why you can either use a cloth or you can use a special jar, which has the openings but also the ability for air to flow in, but protects it from insects going in. So what you will do now is you will keep this fermenting in a cool place, preferably dark, in your kitchen or wherever you can have it. We like to leave it for 10 days. The reason we leave it for 10 days, it's because it's nicely fermented, it's not as sweet. Some people leave it for 1 week. You could even leave it for up to 2 weeks, which would be just less sweet. So that's your first fermentation for the kombucha. That, once it's ready and once it's been 10 days or 1 week or 2 weeks, depending on the amount of days and how sweet or how fermented you like it. There's a step 2 for this fermentation, which is the point in which you could flavor your kombucha if you wanted to. If you don't want to flavor it, you can just pour that fermented drink into either small jars or large ones as well, and then you can just put a lid on and keep them in the fridge for as long as you want to. Once the lid is on and once you put them in the fridge, it stops the fermentation process, so it's not going to be making it any more sour. And also, you know, because the SCOBY is not there, you remove the SCOBY. So I'm going to show you. So this is the plain one, and this is delicious. You know, we just keep it in the fridge and you can drink it, and it's really refreshing. It's really tasty. But what some of you were asking me was, how do we make our hibiscus kombucha? Hibiscus or Jamaica, which is a flower that we use in Mexico to make, you know, flavored water and delicious drinks. It's something that you can get either as a flower. So I'm going to show you here. It's just, you know, a dried flower that you can see here. So you can get it like that, or you can get it as in tea bags as well. So what you will be doing is you will either get, again, you know, 1 liter of boiled water, and as it's boiling or simmering, you would add either the tea bags or a handful of the flowers. You would let it simmer for about 5 minutes. Then turn the hob off and let it cool down again completely. So once it's cooled down completely, I have here a liter of hibiscus. I used the flower because I was able to get some of the flowers. So in 1 liter, I have it here is completely cooled down, and then I'm going to then make my flavored kombucha. So in a large bottle, or it can be a small bottle, you know, depending on how you'd like to keep it, but you would just need to put this is my fermented kombucha. It has been fermenting for 10 days. As you can see, still has the SCOBY in there. So what I will be doing is I'll just add the fermented kombucha in here, making sure that I'm leaving some of that fermented liquid in here for my next fermentation. And then I'm going to very simply add the infused water with the hibiscus. I'm going to remove this and clasp it. We don't add any more sugar at this point because we just don't like it very sweet. Some people may add half a teaspoon of sugar in here if they prefer it a little bit sweeter. So you have 2 options here. One option is it's already a little bit fizzy, but if you like it very fizzy, almost like a fizzy drink or a soda, what you would be doing is you seal your bottle and you keep it outside the fridge just at room temperature for 1 more week. So that is one option. If you are choosing that option because you like it very fizzy and it is very delicious and very refreshing, you're going to have to leave it for 1 more week at room temperature. Again, if you can leave it in the same dark place, that's fantastic. The one thing that is very important is that every 24 hours, so make sure that you're doing this daily, that you unclasp and open. So that's what it's typically known as burping your kombucha, just so that it doesn't create a lot of pressure and potentially it can make your bottle explode. So you're just burping it, you know, daily, put it back, put the clasp back on, leave it back in the dark for up to a week, and that would make it very fizzy. Sometimes we make some of our kombucha fizzy, but if you like it just slightly fizzy but not too fizzy, you can just keep it in your bottle, put it in the fridge straight away. it's going to stop fermenting, which means that it's not going to be creating any more fizz, but it's also less likely for the pressure to build up and for the bottle to explode. Keep it in the fridge. As soon as it's, you know, nicely cooled down and at, you know, at a nice temperature, you can just have it in a glass on its own, or you can use it as part of, you know, if you want to make different drinks or cocktails, and you can mix things. But just as it is, it's really delicious. It's very friendly for our gut bacteria. You know, it's going to be helping all of that. And mostly, and most importantly, it really is delicious and refreshing. It's not very high in carbs or sugar, and it is packed with that good bacteria that we need in our guts. Thank you.